Look, we need to talk. Come in. A little closer. Okay, so I understand wanting to make a movie, and I understand that horror films are really cheap to make, but that doesn't mean it needs to look cheap as well. Because this movie is bad, and I don't understand how people keep getting away with things like this. This needs to stop. And the worst part about it is, this wasn't even the worst film I saw this year. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Finding Jesus. In a sleepy mountain town, Cindy witnesses the murder of her parents by a bloodthirsty green figure in a red Santa suit. 20 years later, the Christmas hating monster begins to terrorize the town once more. Cindy finds new purpose in stopping the creature and saving the holiday. So, in case you guys didn't know, or you just live in some mountain far out away from everybody, there's a new horror film out, and it's called The Mean One. And man, is this a mean one to watch. So, we all know the story about the Grinch. We know that the Grinch was bullied as a kid. His Christmas didn't go well, so he decided to make Christmas bad for everybody. And that's basically kind of how this movie is, but not at the same time, because this has a horror theme around it and it didn't work for it. It's funny because the people who made the Winnie the Pooh movie, they basically did the same thing, and that one was also really bad. I didn't do a review on that one. I'm not going to do a review on that one. Sadly, it was better than this one though, but we're not going to talk about that. So this film starts off pretty bad, and it's basically this little girl's downstairs. She sees Santa Claus down there, and they're talking, they're having fun, they're playing. She gives Santa this like charm, and then her mom comes downstairs, and she sees this green monster, and her mom starts screaming, get away from her. And then she immediately starts to attack this guy, and of course, he's like fighting back because he's getting attacked, and she ends up dying. And because of that, the little girl, she sees her mom dead and she screams at him, monster. And that sets everything off. The police eventually show up and it's just her because her mom's dead. Her dad was wherever. I'm not even sure if they even mentioned where her dad was at the time. Maybe they weren't together. But her dad wasn't there. The police show up and then she's talking to the police saying, yeah, this green monster killed my mom. She shows him this picture and the officer's like, green monster? And then he finds this like green ski mask and he's like, oh, we found this mask. So could you really draw what you saw on this day? So that's basically how everything like picks up and goes on. And then we skip 20 years later on into everything. And she's fully grown. She's traveling with her dad. And for whatever reason, they decide to make their way right back to their house where her mom died. So now grown up Cindy and her dad make it home and they're trying to find decorations to decorate the house up for Christmas. And they're realizing that no one has decorations. They weren't even able to have these reindeer antlers on top of their car. An officer has stopped them and told them, hey, we don't do that here. It's policy. Please take it down. So they end up doing that. They can't find any kind of decorations. So they like make do with what they brought with them. And they start decorating the house. Cindy ends up needing to go to town for whatever reason. And on her way back, her dad ends up getting murdered by the mean one. And she sees that happen in front of her. So now she lost her mom and her dad. And at this point, everyone thinks that she's crazy because, she's like, this green monster, killed my dad like he killed my mom 20 years ago. Of course, no one believes her. At this point, Cindy finds out that the mean one only attacks those who are celebrating Christmas. So she ends up looking into everything because no one believes her, so she tries to investigate herself. One couple gets killed for doing things outside of the town. She just so happens to be there. She calls the police again. No one believes her. It's a repeated thing of all of this happening. Then again, in the town, there's a scene where there's these drunk people. They come into this bar and they're all dressed up as Santa. Some of the people are dressed up as Mrs. Claus, elves, things like that. Very Christmas themed thing. So of course, the mean one goes in for the attack. And this is the thing that confuses me about it because one of the workers there was also kind of like in the spirit. So I don't know why he didn't attack her. He ended up saving her. I guess because she got harassed. I guess that might be the reason. But he ends up saving her. And he starts attacking all the other people in there. And he's killing them. There's this one guy who's in this like Christmas tree attire. He could have got out if he had to just stay still, but for whatever reason, he decided to move out of the way, and then the mean one saw him. And at this point, it's like the movie saw the Terrifier and was like, I want to make a movie like the Terrifier, have him act like Jim Carrey and Art the Clown, mix that together, and have him go on a killing spree. That's basically what this movie was. And they didn't get either of those. I didn't get the Terrifier out of it, and I also didn't get Jim Carrey. It was like your Walmart brand, your knockoff brand character. On the bright side, there was a lot of bloody scenes, and I love my blood and gore, so that was at least a good part about the movie. So the acting in this movie was actually really bad. The pacing in this movie was bad. I didn't care about any of the characters. I also didn't care about Cindy. She has this weird montage where she starts getting fit. She's working out so she can take on the mean one. And I mean, she was pretty buff. I don't know if they did this afterwards, but she didn't look the same throughout the rest of the movie because she was pretty big, and it seemed like she was actually working out. So I just feel bad that if they actually did take the time to get her to work out for this movie, it was a big waste of time. One strange thing that I realized about this movie was the mean one had some kind of strange superpowers off film, because he was able to, it's like he was able to teleport away from people in sight. Like us as the audience, I get it. The camera angles on another person and then he like disappears. But to them, they should be able to see him because he's right in front of them. Like he's literally right across from them, and then he disappears as if they just weren't paying any attention. And he's like in their face. It's not like he's behind something. No, he's right in front of them. They have a gun. They're trying to shoot him. No, he just disappears. So he has some strange superpowers for this movie. It doesn't make sense. I just didn't get it. So by the end of this movie, I was excited. Not because, I was enjoying the movie. No, I was excited for the movie to be over because, man, this was a long hour and 30 minutes of nothing. So I was excited for this film to be done so I could go on to doing something else. And they did this weird thing too throughout the movie where they had this strange narration where they're rhyming. They tried to do the Dr. Seuss thingy throughout this movie, and it just really didn't stick for me.
If Josh had the power where he could rewind time, he would have did something better, like playing with slime.
Yeah, like that. No, but seriously, this was a really bad movie. I honestly wouldn't even waste my time trying to look this up, trying to watch it. It was the worst hour and 30 minutes I've ever spent watching a movie. Well, no, dang, I can't say it was the worst hour and 30 minutes because that Finding Jesus movie, wow, I'm not watching the second one. That movie was terrible. Do not watch that movie, by the way. No, but seriously, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please leave a comment down below what you think about this movie, if you saw it or if you didn't see it. I want to know your thoughts on this because I can't be the only one who thought it was a really bad movie. They should probably never make another movie again, but they're probably going to. Well, guys, it's the New Year's, and I have other videos on my channel. Like I said in my previous video, I'm doing more reviews now. I took a break about a year ago, and now I have the time to be able to get back into these, and I'm actually enjoying getting back into it and giving my honest opinions about movies and shows. And I just hope to see you guys in the next ones.